Hey y'all, you are now tuning in to the Praying Single Mom podcast, where we love the Lord, we love to pray, and we even love a good slay child, okay? But we also love to get real, raw, uncut, and candid. No topic is off limits here, as we are not after religion, but we're after relationship with Christ. We are not after perfection, but we're after connection. So we'll touch on all topics, from why you need to get out of that relationship that is no longer serving you, to rejection, abandonment, grief, neglect, you name it. From how to be a better parent to how to better that spending habit, honey, because we know how we can get, okay? We let God use us like never before. I hope you know that you're safe here. You can cry here. You can laugh here. Whatever floats your boat and keeps you afloat, okay? I'm your host, Lekeshia Cody. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Praying Single Mom podcast. I hope you all are doing well. I hope your October has been amazing so far. We are almost in the month of November, which I am super excited about. I want to talk to you guys really quick about It Had to Happen. Yeah, the title of this podcast episode is It Had to Happen. A lot of times we beat ourselves up so much. We're weighed down, we're heavy, and we have a hard time understanding why things are happening in our lives and why things had to happen the way that they did. And a lot of times we don't even get to process or the thought process of why things are happening, because we are so busy focusing on the negative things that happen. We are so busy focusing on the hurt that came from it. We are so busy focusing on the pain that came from it. We are so busy focusing on the rejection that came from it, the sting of all of those things. And while it's okay to process those emotions, I want you to understand that I'm pretty sure there's a time in your life or a season where you went through some difficult things, and when you look back, you're like, God, I'm glad that happened the way that it did, because if that would have never happened, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be in the thought process that I am today. I wouldn't be the woman that I am today. I wouldn't have known what I deserve and what I did not deserve. A lot of times you don't realize and you're not able to see it. Trust me, even when we think about breakups and when people walk away from us, or when people decide not to choose us, we get so caught up on the relationship, or them not choosing us, or the abandonment, us feeling rejected for whatever reason, that we can't even begin to fathom the fact that if God allowed this to happen, then it had to happen for a reason. Right? I just want you guys to sit with that for a moment and understand that whatever it is that you dealt with in your life, or whatever walk of life you're in this moment, whatever season you just walked out of, or whatever season you currently just walked into, I don't want you to continue to dwell on the past. If anything, I want you to take the lessons that you learned out of every situation and understand, listen, those things had to happen. It had to happen. Shout out to Sarah Jakes. I listened to her most recent sermon, and it was called Own Your Lessons. And that one truly blessed me. One of the things that I took away from that sermon was that she said, I eat my losses for breakfast. And it's not in a prideful way, but it's pretty much just saying, listen, take the L's, eat the L's, but don't let them keep you. Own your lesson. Own your lesson. What does that mean? We all go through things in life, and every single thing, there is a lesson. And Cheryl Brady, she's with the Potter House as well. She taught a powerful message called, I can't remember the message, but she talked about stones. And when you go through whatever you go through, be sure to pick something up, right? When you fall down, be sure to pick something up from it. A lot of times we go through so many situations, but we don't pick up the lesson. We don't learn our lessons. And then if we're not careful, we'll find ourselves back in that same situation. We'll find ourselves back in a similar situation. We'll find ourselves back in the same lesson because we didn't pick up what we needed to pick up from it, right? So whatever it is, guys, whatever it is, whether it be you left a job or a job left you or dropped you or fired you, whether it be you applied for a position and you didn't get it, they chose someone else, whether it be the trauma, the hurt, the pain that you went through even as a child. I'm not saying that you had to be abused. I'm not saying that you had to be molested. I'm not saying that what you went through with your mom had to happen. I'm not saying how your dad wasn't in your life had to happen. I'm not saying that you had to be mistreated. But what I'm saying is that God uses things, and he uses different seasons and different things to mold and shape us. And I'm not saying that because I don't want you to take this and say, God must be a really harsh person if he allowed me to go through all of these different type of things just to mold and shape me. That's not what I'm saying. But when the Bible says that he causes all things to work together for the good of those that love him and who are called according to his purpose, I just believe that he's causing all of those things to work together for your good, right? Even the grief, even the heartache, that moment where you felt like you were crushed and you felt like you would not make it through. Have you ever dealt with some type of heartbreak or some type of pain, grief, and you felt like you were crushed? And in that moment where it was happening, you couldn't put it into words. In that moment where it was happening, you didn't understand why the pain. Have you ever just cried out and said, God, why? Have you ever just went through something and the only thing that you could do is just cry, right? But now that you are out of that moment, you can look back and say, God, I thank you. It didn't feel good then, but now, God, I understand. God, it hurt me so bad in that moment, God, but now I understand. I understand why I had to go through that. I understand why. Because now that I'm on the other side, I can go out and I can help someone else heal. Now I can go out and I can help someone else overcome. Now I'm out of that unhealthy relationship. I know I don't ever want to go through anything like that again. Now that I'm done with that toxic relationship, I know what I will and will no longer allow. God, I know now that I've allowed myself to get all of that unhealthy weight off of me, God, I know that I would need to take care of my body more, God. I understand that I don't ever want to go back to that place again. I was listening to a financial class today, and I was listening to people's testimonies of how they were in hard seasons of their lives, right? Being in a hard place or in a hard season and make you realize what you never want to go back to. I was listening to one of the people talk, and he talked about how he had got so low and so broke. One lady was saying that she just didn't have enough money one month to put gas in her car. And she was like going through all of those different things. It made her realize she never wants to get back to that place. And I can relate to that 100%. Rock bottom teaches you things that mountaintops could never teach you. And I'm going to say that again. Rock bottom teaches you things that mountaintops will never teach you. So if you are at rock bottom, it's a great place to be in. It doesn't feel good in that moment, but what can you learn in this moment? What can be cultivated in this moment? What can be birthed in this moment? What can you do in this moment to shift the trajectory of your entire life, your entire bloodline? What can you change in this moment? How can you do relationships differently going forward? How can you choose you going forward? How can you begin to look in the mirror and see who you are? How can you begin to change your language? How can you begin to say, God, change my appetite, change my desires, cause my desires to be in alignment with your desires, God, so that I won't keep desiring the same thing. So I won't keep attracting the same type of people, God. Change my fragrance, oh God, so that I will begin to smell like you again, God, so that I won't be in this same place that I am this time next year, or even this time next month. Oh God, I pray now for you guys who are listening in, that whatever you are holding on to, or whatever you are having a hard time releasing and letting go, I pray that you would understand that it had to happen, that they had to say they didn't want you, that they had to reject you, that they had to choose someone else, that they had to push you away, that it had to happen. You had to go through that moment that you went through. You had to go through what you went through, even financially, so that you would learn finances going forward, so that you can break generational curses, so that your children won't have to go through the same struggles that you went through. Some of you moms who are listening in, you're going to teach your own children financial literacy. You're going to teach them budgeting. You're going to teach them how to save. You're going to teach them the importance of finances. You're going to teach them so that they'll begin to break the generational curses, because it ends with you. It ends with you. It had to happen, that depression, so that you'll tell your daughter what it feels like to be in depression and how to overcome it. That anxiety attack that you dealt with, so that you'll begin to teach your son what anxiety feels like and how to overcome it, that he can cast every care to the Lord, and that he can give those anxieties and those burdens to the Lord, because you'll be able to tell the time when God delivered you. You'll be able to tell about a time when God brought you out. You'll be able to tell about a time when God delivered you and how you got over. It had to happen, y'all. It had to happen, right? So if you don't take nothing else away from this, I want you to go back and I want you to begin to look at every detail of your life, every season, the hard seasons, the divorces, even the abuse, even the death, the funerals, all of those different type of things that you just came out of, whatever it is. Guys, I'm not saying that they had to die. That's not what I'm saying. But God wanted to do something even in that. Even in that. We have to trust God in every season, in every circumstance, in every situation. And I'm praying for those who are dealing with grief. God, I pray that you would comfort them like never before. And I pray, God, that you would provide wisdom, clarity, and understanding even in those moments. Because you are good, God. Your love and your mercy endureth forever. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If this episode blessed you, post it in your stories. Tag me, Lekeshia Cody, Becoming Lekeshia, the Praying Single Mom. And yeah, guys, you guys be blessed. And I will talk to you soon.